Town to City is adorable, it is charming, and it has a level of customization I don't think I've ever seen in any other city builder. It might also be my new favorite city builder, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why that is. In fact, everything you're looking at right now is something that we're going to be building in this video. So we begin with a train station, which is going to be super important for our little village going forward. But first things first, we need to know how to play the game, which, I mean, it's a video game, it's on PC. You're probably well aware that it's going to be WASD to move around. You can hold right click and sort of drag around. You can rotate the camera with middle mouse, and you can scroll in and out for zoom. But what's actually most important is that we need to build 3 houses and connect them to this station with a road. So down here at the bottom, we have the houses tab, and right now we just have the townsfolk residence. But before we build that, and by the way, there's 5 different colors, we can randomize them, we're absolutely going to be doing that. But before we build those, I want to build some roads. Now, in here, we can choose road type, brush size, and whether to use freeform drawing or the line tool. We need to connect buildings by drawing roads between them, and that's great. But the road tool in this game is really, really cool, and I really, really appreciate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using the line tool and the square brush, and I want to come in this way, and I want to build myself some kind of little town square looking thing. So we're going to start here. We're going to drag this out in a nice straight line right to, I don't know how far to go with this, honestly, right to about here should be fine. And then we are going to sort of stamp another section of road right there. We will stamp another section of road right there. We will do the same thing just over this way as well, and the same thing just over here. And that gives us a pretty good looking town square, if I do say so myself. We can also go in and remove some sections of these roads to give ourselves a little space in the middle for something like a fountain or whatever decorations I want to put in there. I think we go for a size 5 brush, maybe a size 4 brush to make that happen would be a better idea. I think that is definitely a little bit better. I think that's a pretty good size. It's not going to be perfectly centered, but I think that's good enough. But here's the thing. This isn't the super cool thing with this game's road tool. The super cool thing with this game's road tool is that I can go in here, and we're going to go in with a size 5 brush and do a little stamp right here. We're going to do a little stamp right about here. And I'm going to lay out some sections of road that I would want to be, I want some relatively straight lines in just a couple of places, but not too many. I'm not interested in having perfect roads around here, but I would like to have, well, you know what? I don't want any perfectly straight roads. Here's what we're going to do instead. We're going to go from this corner, and we're going to be using the line tool to drag out to about here, which doesn't look that great. I mean, it looks fine, but it could be better. We can use Z and X to put some curves into these roads after the fact, and that means we can drag out like this and get a beautiful curve around there. We can go over this way and do exactly the same thing. We'll drag out to this spot. We can hit X a few times to sort of curve this around, which is what I'd like to do. I'm thinking about there is going to be perfect for this guy. And then I would just like to come around and do my best to outline this lake, because I think we could get some beautiful buildings in here if I just take my time for a second. Maybe a little something like this, I think would be good. And I think we can maybe drag this out in a bit of a straight line. So this will be a straighter section of road on this side of the lake. And that is totally fine. And just like that, we have ourselves a nice road looping around everything. But here's the cool thing about these road tools, because everything just goes together perfectly. What I can do is come down here with another square brush, and we can just drag straight out. We'll get this to go in a nice straight line to, let's say, about there. I think that'll be totally fine. We can go to about this spot, drag down, and use the curves on this to sort of have it blend together in a really, really satisfying kind of way, which I absolutely adore. I love the look of that. We'll probably do the same thing. In fact, we will do the same thing over on this side as well, which we're probably not going to be using right now. I'm going to be honest with you. There's a lot of stuff that we have to do before all of these roads are going to come in useful, but I've played quite a few hours of this game in my downtime, and some of that is because I've had technical issues with recording and had to throw out multiple hours of recorded episodes, but some of it's also because the game is really fun and I'm really enjoying it. So it's kind of a win-win for me that I get to come back and do this all again. Now I will say, I think cutting out a little bit of road right there is going to look really interesting. And I think cutting out a little bit of road right there is going to look really interesting because I can put trees in those. And I can put details and decorations in those, because that's a thing that this game is all about, is detailing and decorating and all that good stuff. But you know what? We have some roads. We have a very basic layout right here. So let me go ahead and get myself some townsfolk residences. Now, here's the cool thing with this. I can go ahead and snap this to the roads, so it'll sort of go anywhere around here. I can turn off snapping, so I can just place it over a road. I can rotate it. I can freeform it. For now, since we have this straight road down here, we'll go one. We'll go, oh man, I kind of want them to build before I place all of them so I can get them evenly spaced out. They don't have to be. And the game's kind of charming. The game doesn't necessarily need me to space these evenly apart, but I'm going to, because we have a pretty good looking row of buildings here. So I'm going to say we go for about that much space between them. And I think that right there looks pretty good. That is our 3 houses, our first 3 of probably many, and we have our objective done. So that's when our first train comes in. This is why the station is so important, which, by the way, this developer's last game was called Station to Station. It had a very similar art style to this. I think we did play it on the channel once, maybe twice. I don't remember. But if this is like the art style that they're going for all of their games, I am so here for it. Just keep these coming. I love this art style so much. Now, the first family has arrived. We need to click on their icon and give them a home. So we have these guys right here. It is the left, yep, it's a family. They're going to be living in there, and we're going to click on their house and see what's going on. So they have been given a home. We can open residence information by clicking on it, which we did. And a warm, beautiful house is the main way to increase the residents' happiness, but it currently does not provide much. Let's change that by giving them access to food buildings. So this is why I wanted a town square, because we're going to be placing market buildings. We're going to be placing some other commercial buildings eventually as well. But for now, it's mostly going to be market buildings. We have these spaces up here that I absolutely adore. I think I'm going to turn off snapping though, and I'm going to try my best to sort of freeform these. So we can have a market stall right here, and we can have a market stall, I want to say, right about there as well, which apparently needs to be closer to the houses. Really? That's a thing? Okay. Wasn't aware that it was going to do that to me, but okay. We will put a market stall over on this side then, and that should be completely fine. There we go. I mean, it got rid of a little bit of my road, but I think that'll come back once the construction's done. There we go. So that gives us 2 market stalls. We also have another family here, the Gucci family, who can go live in that second house right about there. And with the market stalls done, we now need to click on them. So before a shop is operational, it needs to have workers. All adults living in your town can be employed. So let's click down here and add a worker to the cheese stall. Each worker increases the amount of citizens that can be serviced. So make sure all shops can meet their demand by having enough workers. This shop can't sell yet because there's no warehouse connection. So let's build a warehouse next, which is going to be right down here. A warehouse receives resources from the station and then transports them to commercial buildings. An efficient warehouse is nearby commerce buildings and close enough to the station. So we have a warehouse right here. It is a small warehouse, and I'm thinking we maybe build it right here. Or we could push it back. We could build it a little closer to the station, kind of hide it behind some decorations and some of the market stalls. We could build it over here if we really wanted to, which I'm not against doing. I think that's kind of an interesting spot. Not too sure how well that'll work with market stalls though. So maybe the warehouse lives here We can do like a little road going up to it, I think, and that'll allow me to hide it a little bit with some market stalls. I think I'd like to do that. So let's go for this spot right here. It's not going to have a road connection, but that's okay. We also have the Roussel family who can live in this house down here. And we have a family that isn't going to have a house for a minute, but let's get someone working in here and let's figure out this connection very quickly for the warehouse. So we'll go for a slightly smaller brush. I think this one is just fine. It's almost the perfect size, actually. Could we go a little bit smaller? Would that work better? I almost feel like it would, and I'm almost thinking a different material for this could be kind of cool. Maybe just this plaza material or even sand, or I don't know if I want to do dirt. Dirt seems a little bit too rough. Let's go for this plaza material for this road. We'll just bring it right up to, I want to say about there. Should be pretty good. Let's also just make sure that we're free-forming this so I can get it to be nice and even, which it is. And there's also a paint ground option. So if I wanted to, I can go in here and I can just sort of stamp some stone underneath these little grass parts, which I think looks pretty great. I like that a lot. That's going to be our warehouse, which is fantastic. Let's get someone working in here. We need two someones working in here. That's what the two green dots mean. So what we'll do is get two people. Oh, we need more workers to cover all connected shops. That's fine. Do I have? I do. I do have more workers. We can actually see up here in the top left, we have 2 workers available. So we'll have to keep that in mind for anything else that we build, but that should be fine. We do have these 2 stalls up and running now, which is great. We have a warehouse, which is great. We are going to need more houses, which is less great, but we'll get there is what we'll do. So if we click on this house, access to multiple different shops will greatly increase the happiness for our residents. This house will earn you more daily income with each shop connection, and each house, shop, and warehouse has a decoration score. This makes the people who live or work in this building happier. Let's make a house and a shop or warehouse provide more happiness by decorating the areas around them. So this is my favorite part of this game. I'm not exaggerating. I'm just telling you right now. This is my favorite part of this entire game, is the ability to go in and put a little well right there. I can go and get myself some trees. We've got them randomized, so we'll put a tree back here. We can do some trees around the warehouse as well, just to decorate this space and make it look nice. We can put more trees back here to decorate our shops a little bit and make those look nice. And we have this whole area around the houses to make those look nice as well. So here's what we're going to do. Just before we go too much further with all of these decorations, I want to come into this space. I want the round brush. I want the line tool. I want the brick texture, and I want a size 5 brush, because what I'm going to try and do is go from here and just straight out this way as best I possibly can in pretty much a straight line. I think should be fine, straight to about there. And I'm going to try and build some kind of little neighborhood is what I'm looking for. So I want to go kind of this way. I want to leave a little bit of room so that I can have some decorations in here, kind of make some little parks or whatever I want to call them. But I want to go around like this. I want to come up this way, and I want to try and make this just look really, really good, really, really interesting, and a little bit adorable, because that's kind of the point of the game. So we'll go, let's say something like this. And now I just need to link this into what we have down this way, which is going to be actually relatively easy. I might want to do a little curve from here, just something a little bit more gradual to start this process of coming around here, because it's going to be a little rough otherwise. So let's do that, I think, and then connect these guys together a little something like this. I think that's pretty good. So that gives us this space in here to develop for some houses. I think it would be a great idea to just get a little bit of a curve in here as well. So that's a bit of a smoother kind of thing going on there. And I like that a lot. I do. I like that space a lot. Let's get some houses in here. We're not going to be snapping them to the roads where possible. So we'll go for here, and I'm leaving that gap very intentionally. I guess I'm going to be leaving a gap sort of in there as well, sort of intentionally, I guess. That's that's totally fine. We'll do, you know what? We'll not leave a gap between these two. We'll go a little bit wider with these two, or a little bit closer with these two. So we'll go for here. We'll randomize and make sure that we're getting different colors for the houses as well. We can also speed the game up so these build quicker, so I can actually, you know, see the distances between them that little bit better. I want to go for about here, and then we can get one more in this space, which I'm thinking might be a pretty good idea, because we do really need houses in here, but I'm also really enjoying the idea of turning them around and kind of having them face the water. I think that would look nicer. So you know what? I'm going to be a little bit controversial here. I'm bulldozing. I can't bulldoze it during the tutorial. No. Okay, can I bulldoze you? I can bulldoze you. That's fine. I can deal with that. Let's do, oh, can I get 2 houses in here? I'm really hoping I can. I want one right there, and I want one in between these buildings as well. So I at least have 2 houses that are going to be facing the water. I think that's a really good idea. And that leaves us some open space back here, but I can work with that. And there's a reason I'm actually very much okay with some open space back here, because obviously what we need to be doing here is decorating. So I'm going to go in with the paint ground option, and I'm going to put some stone underneath the little sort of path sections up to the doors, so that it looks like it's kind of paved and people have something to walk over to get to their house. And then if we go into decorations, we have this right here, which is a little fence section that we can kind of drag out and use to just enclose some different areas. And this is something I am so excited about, because I can go to about here, and that gives us a little fence around there that looks kind of fantastic. We can do something similar just about here to kind of close that space in. We can do, let's see, how do I want to do this? I would like a little fence section that just comes around this corner in little segments like this to about there. And I think that's pretty good. Over this way, we can do something similar, going from, let's say, here to that curve, and just gradually come around here as well. And what I'm going to try and do is build a space in between all of these houses where people can walk. There are trees, there can be benches, there can be all sorts of decorations in and around all of these different spaces. So we'll bring this guy down to here. We're going to go very, very carefully around this corner to get something as good as we can possibly get, like this. And already that just looks so much better. It really does. Just the little fences give it so much life, and I absolutely adore it. But what I want to do is a nice big tree on that corner. I'm thinking a couple of big trees in that corner as well to sort of, you know, fill in the space really nicely. We have room back here for another pair of massive trees, another tree in there, and a couple of trees, I think, in this space. We can also do a wooden slide, which I think would look lovely, kind of amongst the trees a little bit right there. I think is a good spot for it, with maybe a nice bench for, you know, the parents to sit and watch their little kid just, you know, absolutely go way too fast down the slide and hit a wall. But that's we'll not worry about that. We'll not worry too much about that. They'll be fine. It's a video game. It's they'll be okay. Is what they'll be. It'll not be that bad. They'll be all right. Let's go ahead and put a nice big tree right here and here for that corner. And I think what we'll do is some trees just in here and here as well. That seems pretty good. It's a little overdone with the trees, I think, but it's okay. I would like to get some more benches though. I want to put a bench right back in here if I can, which I'm pretty sure I can do, just not too close to the houses. So right about there seems good. And we'll go for about there as well. And then what I should be able to do is go into my draw roads option. We have this sandy option right here, and we can just bring a little sandy sort of road through this space is what we can do. So we'll use the freeform brush, and I'm just going to try my best to paint something that's going to look really, really cozy to walk on, really just a really nice space for people to go through as a sort of shortcut between all of the houses and whatnot, but that's okay. I don't really mind if people use this. In fact, I kind of like them too. And I think that looks all right. Yeah, it kind of zigzags around the slide, but that's okay. We can also use a dithered brush on the sand textures here to just give it a little bit more character as well, which I absolutely adore. I think underneath that slide should definitely have a bit more sand. I think right here and right here could have a little bit more sand. And I think we could go in with perhaps a street light next to that bench. And I think a street light maybe next to that bench would be a really good idea as well. And that is a little detailed space that we have right there. Now, I will say, detailing in this game gets so much better. This is just the beginning. I'm completely serious. This is just the beginning. Now, first things first, before we continue, let's get someone moved in here, and let's get someone moved in here so that we don't have to worry about those families. And then we'll continue with the objectives of the tutorial. So if we hover over the happiness percentage, we can view the happiness breakdown. It is 77% currently, needs plus 11%, food plus 11%, home decoration plus 12, work decoration plus 2, commute decoration plus 2, and so on and so forth. People will only arrive at the station if the total average happiness is 60% or above. Percentages in yellow and red should be improved to increase the average happiness efficiently. You can also click individual residents to dive deeper into their individual happiness. A higher population count directly decreases the overall citizen happiness. Research, build, and connect more buildings to maintain a high happiness. So let's build a research center, which is this guy right here. It is a huge building, and it's kind of why I wanted this this section of road over here that's just a little bit more straight, because I can put this guy right on that bit of road, and I think it'll look really, really cool if we do that. It is going to be carving away the terrain behind it. I'm not super worried about that. I think that's okay. I think we can make this thing look pretty good. So let's place it, I'm thinking right about there is where the research center, or whatever it's, is it a research center? Yes, that's exactly where that can go. We will need to add some workers, but first things first, let's add some roads to this guy, and we'll go ahead and reset our curve right there. We'll get ourselves a slightly larger brush, and I want to just bring this road, maybe not quite like that, but I want to try my best to get this road to just go straight up to the building, a little something like this, a little something like this, and honestly, that's okay. I think we can work with that. I think we can absolutely work with that. So adding a worker to a research center will start generating research points. The more workers, the more research. We have room for 10 laborers right now. I'm going to do, I think, 5, because that leaves me with 5 that are available for other tasks. That gives us 300 research per day, and that's good. We are now generating research points. I can see my research in the bottom right, along with my money. Research is capped at 400, money is capped at 4,000. And if we go up here, we have a research menu. Now here is the interesting thing. The game wants me to unlock the fish stall. I can absolutely do that, which is something we will want to build. But we can also decorate buildings. Now this is where things get better. This is where things get interesting. We have 18 out of 50 residents required to upgrade the city. This will unlock new features and buildings in the research menu. Maintain a high happiness and give 50 people a home. Your goal is to grow your new town to a bustling city. If we get lost, we have an encyclopedia, but that is the end of the tutorial, which is good timing because I was about to go nuts with some of my options here. So when it comes to decorating buildings, here's why it's exciting. We have this sort of orange building right here. Let's say we wanted white flowers. We can now put them in the windows. We can now put benches up on the balconies. We can do lights above the doors of the buildings as well. We can go all out to make these buildings even more adorable, even more beautiful, even more decorated. I love this. I have spent so much time in this game just decorating different buildings with flowers and benches and lights and all sorts of things. It is amazing what you can do to make your buildings just look that much better. Like that alone just brings a beautiful little amount of detail to these buildings that wasn't there before. I mean, they're great looking buildings, don't get me wrong. They really are. But you can just take them to another level with the details, especially those lights above the doors. I'm a really, really big fan of those. I think they're very, very cool, and it's a very cool way to just brighten up the fronts of the buildings as well. So that's something I'm going to be doing with every building. I mean, you can see right here what it looks like once the lights start working. It's very good. It's very good. I'm such a fan of how this game does things. I really, really am. I absolutely adore it. Now, the other cool thing about research is that because I have so many people doing it, I can get more decorations like flowers and plants. I can get more trees and bushes. And if we go into the decorations window, we have so many things to play with now. We have so many things to play with, and I love it. We have large trees, which very much live up to their name. If we put a nice big large tree right there and a nice big large tree right there, it kind of frames that space a little bit, which I'm a very big fan of. We should probably also get ourselves a fish stall in here and maybe a fruit stall just while we're at it. And if we give the game a second, we can get the vegetable stall right there as well, which I'm absolutely not against doing. We will need 200 research points to upgrade the markets, which we will do shortly. But first things first, let's get ourselves a fish stall. And I think it's going to live right on this corner. I think that's kind of the perfect place for it. So right about there should be good. The fruit stall is a little bit larger. I want to say it can live right about there. And then the vegetable stall, can I tuck it into this corner? I cannot. That's okay. Can I get it on this corner? I totally can, which is perfect. Now we'll move it back ever so slightly so not everything is on the sidewalk, but right about there, that gives us a beautiful little market to play with. And then if I go into this corner, get myself a nice big tree, maybe a medium tree, just so we're not going too big with it. Nice little medium tree right there. We'll randomize as well and just make sure that we're not placing the same tree over and over again. We can probably just leave it like that, honestly. Maybe a couple of little flowers around the base just to add a little bit more color to the space. I think that's totally fine. And here's another cool detail. I can add flowers to my market stalls. So if I wanted to hang flowers off the front of this, I totally could. If I wanted to put a lantern on this, I totally could. What I'd like to do, I think, is get a street light right here just to sort of brighten up that space. I think a little street light over here would be a great idea as well. And on the other side, if at all possible, just to brighten up that space. And can I do a little street light in here? Is that going to be an option? I sort of can't, although I could just put one on there. Is that a bit much? It might be, but I think we're going to go with that. So before I get too carried away with huge amounts of detailing, I want to come in this way and I want to just take out a good chunk of this road right back to about there. I want to get my round brush, my size 5 brush, and I'm going to bring some new sections of road out here. Except what I'm going to do is bring them down this way just a little bit. We're going to just ever so slightly change things up. We're going to come down. We're going to go out sort of this way. And this is just going to give me a bit of a different shape to work with, because otherwise we were just going to have this big straight road across here, which is cool and all, but we can get some curves in here. And I mean, real cities have curves, so it kind of makes a bit of sense. We'll bring this road, I want to say back like this, which is totally fine. I think we want to get a nice sort of straight section of road right here. I also need to close you so I can see what I'm doing with this road, but I think a little straight section of road right here would be fine. So I can get a few buildings placed right alongside of it. And then I'm thinking I kind of come up across and down the side of the research center. So let's do a little something like this. And that's going to leave me room here for some trees, which I think is really good. And I think that's really important. For this space, we can also do some kind of curve to bring this over and make it look that little bit better. And I think that looks great. I love that you can do that. I love that you can blend roads together like that to get these perfect little curves. It's such a cool thing to be able to do, man. It's such a cool way to do road. I hope more games, like more, you know, city builders like this pop up. I love what the last few years have done to just different sort of tools in city builders. Obviously, you know, I'm not going to compare this to City Skylines 2, but the one thing that I think everyone agrees on is that the road tools in City Skylines 2 are very cool. They're very, very cool. This game, also very, very cool. I love the road tools in this. I'm also thinking I might just, while I'm here, bring a little section of road up like this. We might go a little bit further to the right to do it, but a little section of road just going up here might not be the worst idea in the world. And then if we were to sort of connect these guys together, a little something like this, we can kind of continue this road over a little bit later on if we wanted to. And I'm all right with that. I think right here we can do some kind of little curve just to neaten this out, make it look the part, make it look a bit better. I don't love that, but it's okay. That way, if I want to build another like neighborhood out here, I can totally do that. And I will probably want to do that. So that's absolutely going to be the plan. But for now, we have a few families waiting for houses. So let me go in and get myself a little house, which is going to live, I want to say right about there. That's a pretty good view for a house as well. That's a really, really nice spot. We'll go for here as well. We're going to leave that gap so I can do some paths in between all this. And then I think from here on out, we want to just sort of freeform place these, which really don't seem to be randomizing right now. So give me a white one with randomization turned on, and we'll put them kind of close together. We can certainly do another one down here. Give me a yellow one this time. And can I just put them like right together? Is that an option? It sort of looks like it will be. And you know, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with those two being super, super close together. And then here for this straight section of road, we can kind of just bring them down this way. We'll turn off snapping and rotate around so that they are pretty much all next to each other. Randomization's kind of a little temperamental in the game, but that's all right. We'll do a little something like this. And can I get one more in there? I totally can. Is there room at the back for a path? There totally is. I'm not gonna, so while I was holding this here, while I was like mousing over this little spot right here and trying to figure out if there was room to the right of that building, I just leaned in my chair. I'm like, is there room? And I'm like, I'm leaning. You can hear me getting further away from, I was doing that, but I was like turning my head. So I'm still speaking into the, the microphone. Oh man. You know, you're getting a little bit too into a game when you start like leaning to see around things in the game. Oh man, I feel a little bit silly, but that's okay. I really enjoy this game, so it's worth it. Let's do a little house right here. We can do another one next to it, so they're nicely kind of lined up here on the hill. And we have this whole corner to play with as well. I would love to get two houses in that space. I'm not sure if we can, but I would love to find out, is what I would love to do. Can I get a little house right here? And that doesn't leave a lot of room in there, but that's okay. And then can I get another one next to it? And I'm talking perfectly next to it. I sort of can. And I'm kind of willing to sacrifice a little bit of my road to make it happen, because I think I can smooth that out and make it look good, is what I think I can do. And you know, to be honest, the road doesn't even look too bad in here, but if we just push in this way with sort of a circular eraser tool, we can kind of smooth it out a little bit, and that looks perfect. I love that. We have room in here for a path. We have room over here for a path. We have room down here for a path. So I think the first thing I'd like to do before we start detailing all of this is go in with some sand and get some paths through here. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I think we'll use the line tool for this. I think we can get away with it. I think we can go for a size 3 brush on this guy. And I think we just sort of go straight to about this. That might even be too big, actually. I think size 2 was probably the perfect size for our little sandy paths in here. Now, do I like that it's a perfectly straight line? I actually don't. So you know what? We'll freeform it is what we'll do. You know, I think it's amazing what just a few trees and fences can do in this game. And this is, again, just sort of scratching the surface. There is so much more that we can do here. I'm going to slow the game down a little bit because the day-night cycle is going by very, very quickly. And I'd also like it to stay dark for just a little bit here while I go around and place all of the lights above the front doors on these houses. This one's that's not quite what I wanted. We'll get rid of you. And we'll go ahead and just put this guy above that one as well. I think we also want to get some street lights in here. I think right there is a really good spot for one. I think right in about here is a really good spot for a street light. I think this little sort of gap right here is a great spot for a street light. And I think down here is also a pretty good spot for a street light, just to make sure it's you know, bright enough to sort of see where you're going in here. I think that's going to be really important for this little area. We can do one right there as well. So again, you can kind of see where you're going. And I do want people to maybe go in here. So I think adding some benches to the space is definitely the call, because my townsfolk will actually use them. They will go in here. They will sit in the benches. And so they will potentially use the paths that we have through there. And I love that. I love that. Absolutely love that. Sorry, I got really carried away with how much I love that apparently. Let's get some plants on these buildings as well. Let's do some sunflowers on this one. Apparently they really, really like sunflowers is what they're into. That's fine. We don't judge. We're just going to give them sunflowers is what we're going to do. And there we go. We have a beautiful little neighborhood right there, ready for families to move in. So let's give you this house. Let's give you this house, and we'll gradually work around and get people into all of them. Now, right here, apparently we need more people in the fish stall because there is demand for that. And I suppose, do we have more things to research? We absolutely do. We've got the market upgrade, which is going to double the range of all the markets, which I guess also means that the markets themselves are all going to need just a few more workers, which should be completely doable. There we go. We have all of that sorted out. We also have 100% happiness right now, which is kind of amazing. I wasn't really expecting 100% happiness, but you know what? I will absolutely take it. I'm also thinking I would like to come in here and play with some walls. Now, these work very similarly to the fences. In fact, they work pretty much identically to the fences. I just think they would look a little bit better around our research center right here, as opposed to some fences. And you know what? I like that. I like that a lot. I'm also thinking some small trees might be the way to go. In fact, these trees right here look like poplar trees from City Skylines. So it's me. I like my poplar trees. I think we're going to go in with a bunch of poplar trees and make this look as nicely detailed as we possibly can. So we'll go here. We'll go to about there. We can get another one here and another one right there. And then for this corner, we have a bit more space. I'm wondering, can I just do something like a nice big tree at the back? I mean, yes, this is technically an observatory, so maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe that's a little bit silly. Something like this should be okay though. I think that looks pretty good. And I think it just nicely sort of surrounds that thing. It gives it its own little block, which I really, really appreciate. I love that. Oh, now this is interesting. We have a family with a trait. These guys want a house that is surrounded by a lot of trees. Now, have I got news for you? We have nothing but houses surrounded by trees, my friends. So you guys can all go live in there. You guys can go live out there, and you guys can go live right out there. Now, it looks like all the markets are complaining a little bit because, again, the demand for all of these things has increased. We are going to be reaching a point here where we happen to need more of these market stalls because, I mean, we have demand right now is 37, production is 45. So once demand for fish goes above 45, we're going to need another market stall. Although hopefully that's not going to happen too quickly. We do have a population of 37 out of 50 that we're looking for. So I'll tell you what we're going to do just before we go any further with all of this. I want to use this space around our little lake pond thing. And I would like to go in here with a nice sandy dithered brush to just create some little seating areas. Just a little something that people can go out to. They can kind of enjoy sitting in the water and hopefully they can sit in the water. Hopefully they'll actually go out here. I'm not 100% sure if they will, but I think a little something like this is pretty good. I think we could do a little something just in here as well. We'll kind of do some sand along there. We'll do like a little path that comes out this way and we'll sort of just kind of curve out to all of the sand that's right there as well. And that should be pretty good. And I want to say that's probably enough. I don't want to overdo it. Although I would like to see if I can just get some proper grass in here because it's not the nicest looking, is it? We can do some nice bright grass in this space. We'll kind of keep the dithering on there. So it's kind of, I don't know, just a little bit better looking than what we had before. There was a lot of gray going on right there. I'm not too sure if this bright grass is the right call for this, but we're going to try it. We're going to see what happens. At the very least, it covers up some of the dirt that was in there, which is kind of what I wanted from this. So that's totally fine. So here's what I'm thinking. We can't build something like a fishing pier, but I can absolutely do a couple of little benches in here. So let's do 1 and 2 little benches right there. Let's come over this way and we'll do something similar. We'll go for 1, we'll go for 2, and we'll go for 3 benches right about there. That seems like a nice little addition. We can do some street lights in here if we really want to. I don't know that I want to though. I think this should be a little bit more chill out here, but I will absolutely put some fences around this road because I think that's really going to bring it together if we can get some fences that just curve around this entire space. Oh, and look at this. We already have someone sitting out here in the water. That's amazing. Oh, and there's someone over here as well. We got a kid sitting on that bench. That's so good. Oh, that's so good. I love that they do that. I love that you don't actually need paths for them to go out and do things. That's a really nice touch. I really, really enjoy that they will just sort of go to whatever you put down for them to use. That's a really, really cool little thing. So I can just have my little social areas here in the water and have it look really, really cool with that fence around there. Obviously, we do want to get some trees in here, but I think what I'm going to do is sort of build up to the trees in here. So we're going to start with something small. In this case, we're going to go for, wait, I can put flowers on the water? No, didn't realize I could do that. That's so cool. Oh my God. Oh, that's so cool. That's amazing. Oh, wow. Okay. That's very cool. We might need to play around with that. I also forgot about these arches being a thing. So I'd like an arch to be right there. I don't think I'm going to do one here because I think it's a little bit much in front of the research center, but an arch over there is kind of beautiful. And you know what? I think we will, like I said, kind of start small with some small bushes around here just to, you know, build up to some bigger trees. I'd like this to feel a little bit enclosed in a couple of spaces. I want it to feel very cozy. So just a few bushes around the place will be a nice start to that process. So just do one here, here, here. I want one there. And we'll do one last bush right about there. And that'll be fine. I'm not thinking we go up to bigger bushes. I think we go up to the small trees from there. So we'll do 1, We'll do 2. I don't want to completely block the view of the research center, so we'll do another small tree right over here, and another one here, and another one there. And you know what? I think we go up to the medium trees now is what we do. So we'll go up to these guys. We can do a nice medium tree in here, and we'll make sure they're randomized so that they are getting changed a little bit. I think here is the perfect spot for one. I think right in here and over there is a good spot for some medium trees. And then up to the big trees is what we want to do. A nice big tree right in that corner is kind of perfect. It is a lot of shade in that area, but that's all right. And do I want another one here? I don't think I do. Do I want one in here? I don't think I do. What about in here? I think I do. I think one big tree right there. I mean, these guys have had their view spoiled a little bit, but they'll live. They'll be okay. I wouldn't be happy about it if I lived there, but that's the good news. I don't live there, so it's not my problem. There we go. I think this looks perfect. I love this so much. I really do. I am having the time of my life playing this game. This might be my new addiction. It really might. Let's get you a home right over there. What do you guys want? Nature decorations. Okay, well, every house that we have built so far has nature decorations. So that gives us yet another family, which is totally fine. And demand right now is 43 for a fish stall. It is 43 for the fruit stalls, the cheese stalls. It's going to be 43 for all of them, isn't it? So that tells me that we might need another market, which is okay. Honestly, I'm not super worried about needing another market because I think that's something we can kind of deal with shortly. We'll go ahead and get a family in there. We'll get you guys in there. That now gives us 47 out of 50. And then demand for you is now 47. So I guess demand correlates to the number of people, right? I suppose that's kind of how it works. It is covering everything. It's just that we don't necessarily have, well, we're not going to be making everybody happy this way. But you know what? Let's get this family into this house. That wasn't enough, apparently. We have 40. We still only have 48 people. That's fine. I was kind of expecting that to be the 50th resident, but that's all right. We have you want flower decorations. Interesting. I was sort of saving this house for a family that might want to be near the water, but sure, you guys can go live there. And we can now upgrade the town to the next stage by clicking this green button. So we'll go ahead and do that. And we get a little bit of a cinematic. We get a little cutscene, which I absolutely adore as well. We upgrade the station to something a little bit more impressive than we had before. And we should, if I remember this cutscene right, get a very slight view of the station. I thought we'd get something of the town, but well, no, we get something of the station. That's all right. That's totally fine. So with the city upgraded to stage 2, we now have a new need, which is apparel. We also have an expanded research menu, which is very, very exciting, which I'm very, very excited about. We also have Casey over here that wants to talk to us a little bit. So we're all excited about the potential for our town to grow into a prosperous city. Everything is going swell, though some of the new arrivals are experiencing issues. I suggest building yourself a house first, one with a big mailbox. That way, we'll know how to reach you if we ever have any requests for our little town. So I can finally build my own home, which is great. I don't really know where I'd build it, but it's a thing we can do, and it is an objective that we have. It's a very cool looking house as well. It's a very cool looking house, actually. I really do like that. How would I build this, and where would I build this is the real question. I could build it sort of here and make like a little thing. I mean, this looks like it could be the front of it. It isn't. It's the side. This is the front. But I don't know. Do I build it here and have like a little garden around it and make it all fancy looking? I totally could. I could build it over here and do sort of something like that. That might not be a bad idea. I do sort of like that idea, actually. Building my little house just in here put like some walls around it, make like a little mayor's sort of estate thing. That could be quite fun. Building it back here, I could do the same thing, but I kind of have an idea for that space. So you know what? I think the mayor's house is going to live right about there, which is obviously a little bit of a ways away from the road. So we will have to do something about that. We'll use the plaza path right here to connect up to the front of it. And then I should be able, we'll use the line tool. We'll make sure we're not doing any curves. We can just go like this, straight to about there, should be fine. And then I would like to just freeform a fix to that little bit of road that I ever so slightly messed up right there. So just this little part is a little bit better. There we go. That looks all right. I think we can work with that. That is a house fit for a mayor. It absolutely is. Amazing. Your house looks great. I'm sure the first requests will start coming in soon. We're all thrilled to have such an involved mayor in our town. Don't worry if it takes a while to address any of our requests, though. We're patient townsfolk. That's good. It's good, because I'm not doing them right away. I need to decorate my house, is what I need to do. So the way this is going to work, I think, is we bring this wall sort of around the front of it. It's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be. We can go to about there. We'll bring this back towards the train tracks. We can go down to about there and down to about there. And how do I want to do this? How do I want this to go? Let's say to about that spot. Can I bring this down in here? I totally can. That's perfect. Okay. We'll go to the road. And then this is all going to be a part of the mayor's estate is what it's going to be. So this is all coming around. That is all a part of my house. And I think that makes sense, honestly. I do. I think it makes sense that the mayor would have like a big chunk of land around their house. I think it absolutely makes sense. Let's get ourselves some little small poplar trees in here. And because it's me and I use these all the time in City Skylines, we can kind of do a nice little line of poplar trees between us and the warehouse. And I think what I'm actually going to do, we'll double them up like this. So it's a bit more of a very like clear line of trees. I think we do the same thing across the back as well. I think across the back of the house where the train tracks are, we can kind of dot some poplar trees in between each of the pillars of the walls. And that'll help maybe make the trains a little bit less loud. I'm willing to bet it won't do much, but it'll look nice. And that's kind of all I need it to do. So poplar tree right about there. I think that looks okay. I do. I think a nice big tree back here to hide that rock. Well, not hide it, but just sort of, you know, blend everything together is fine. I think a nice big tree out front here is a pretty good idea. And I think one more, maybe a medium tree, maybe this tree could go right here at the front. And I'm sort of all right with that. I don't want to overdo it. I don't think we need more than that. I think some flowers out front would be kind of nice. Although I can, if I want to, put some flowers in my windows. Or can I? Oh, apparently I can't. That's a shame. I was really hoping, I mean, I can put them on the building. I absolutely can do that, but I was hoping to put them in my windows, which I guess we'll just do a light there and that'll be fine. Yeah, that'll be, that'll be all right. We'll do a street light by the entrance to my place, but that's the mayor's manor, and I'm okay with that. Ah, hello, mayor. When I moved here, I didn't realize I would have to survive without my favorite tailor. I fear I'm getting desperately out of fashion. Would you be a dear and build a clothing boutique in our little town and make sure they sell red clothes, dear? I hear it's the latest trend in the big city. Okay, yeah, I can, I can do that. If we go into research, we do have some options. We have clothing stores, which we absolutely need. We need to be able to set the colors of clothes. We'll get the hatter and we'll get the hat colors as well. We'll get the shoemaker at some point. But that's kind of why these stores right here are sort of why I wanted to save this space, because the clothing store, it's pretty cool looking. It's a pretty cool looking building. If I was to move those market stalls, the clothing store would fit really nicely on this corner. And that has me really tempted to do that. I'm not going to lie, but I don't know where the market stalls would go otherwise is kind of the problem. So I think just to keep things simple, I think the clothing store can go I want to say right about there. I think with the market next to it, it's kind of a nice little commercial hub for things, and that's all right. We can do the hatter can go just next door. We'll go for about there. And do we have enough research points to get the shoemaker? We don't right now. We need 175 for the shoemaker, so that's all right. Some shops allow you to customize the goods that they sell. This is one of them. Let's make sure we're selling red clothes. Let's make sure we're selling red hats with, let's do green for the other ones, I guess. That's a choice. That is definitely a choice. We'll get 3 people working in there. We will get 4 people working in there, and that should keep us pretty good. We need to connect a functional clothing store to the house. The warehouse is struggling a little bit now. We'll get someone in there, and my friends will be jealous of this dress. I'm sure they will. 1,000 thanks, Mayor. Even those big city folk will be envious of my beautiful garments. You still look the same to me. Don't worry, it takes a while to develop an eye for fashion. Okay. Wasn't expecting to get insulted by this game, but okay. That's fine. Give me the shoemaker. I think that's probably a good idea to get another little clothing store just on this this street that we have right here. And what I'm thinking for this street, by the way, is that we could go in with stone and we could basically just sort of pave underneath the fronts of these buildings to make it look like there's a little bit more of a sidewalk going on here. And I'm sort of okay with that. In fact, if I just sort of keep tapping my my keyboard to go to the right, it kind of works nicely. I would like to take out this part because, again, it's kind of a market, but otherwise that looks fine. I like that a lot. I think it looks great. This guy is going to need 4 people working here. We have 5 workers available, and by the looks of it, we need someone else in the warehouse again. But that's not bad. That gives us our little clothing street, which I absolutely adore. We should also be able to see. So what are you doing? You're just browsing the window at the hat shop. You've got a green hat. So this is the thing. They will go into these businesses and come out with the things is what they do. I love it. Like that kid just went in there. That kid might come out. There you go. So oh no, they didn't come out with a new hat, but they do change. So because we're making red clothes, we will start to see everybody running around in red clothes and green hats or red hats. I love that. I love that so much. So before we go ahead and wrap things up for today, I want to just expand things a little bit further because I think we totally can. I want to come off of back here and I want to go straight out. So we have a nice little corner right there. And I think what we'll do is try and link up over this way. So we'll go sort of straight out like this, maybe curve it a little bit so it looks a little bit more, I guess, gradual. And then kind of just go up this way. We'll curve around that cliff because that's actually something that your townsfolk can want as well. They can sometimes want to be within range of a cliff. So we can build some houses out here and make some people very happy with, I guess, a cliffside view is what they're interested in. We'll bring this guy over to about here and we'll just connect it around as best we possibly can to about that spot right there. And that again gives us a beautiful little neighborhood to play with. Let's just get a nice curve on there. That looks kind of perfect, actually. We'll go for a very small eraser and just take out the middle spot right about there. And then what I can do is go in there and place a big tree because I think it's kind of cool having a big tree in the middle of the road. I love that. I love that so much. It's such a cool little thing. Now, we do have some things we can research. We have a butcher, we have a bakery, we have a bigger warehouse, which we will need. So I'm going to have to leave some room in here for a lot of those things. But I would like to get my hands on both the bakery, which is an amazingly beautiful looking building. I'm sort of thinking the bakery needs to go on this road right here. Because if I put it on this road right here, well, you know what? I think it needs to go here. I think we give this thing its own sort of, maybe even here. I'm not 100% sure where it needs to go, but I'm kind of liking this space. I want it to be looking out over the water. I think that's really important for the bakery. So you know what? we are going to build it right about, I'm going to say here is where we're going to build the bakery. And then we'll go in, we'll look at the butcher, which is a pretty cool looking building in its own right, but it's not really as impressive as the bakery. So the butcher might just go down next to these guys, which is a bit of an afterthought, I'll be honest, but it's all right. I think the butcher is also, it's a cool looking building. We'll put it right there. And then we'll maybe just paint the ground in front of it so it kind of blends in with everything else that we have going on, because it also probably should. So let's just bring this straight across to about there and bring it up and down. That looks all right. We have nobody that can work here right now, but that's why we're going to be building out this space. That's also why we need to connect the bakery to everything as well. So let me use the plaza for this and a bit of a smaller brush. And you know, I think that right there looks kind of fantastic. As for the butcher, it's fine. Could be better, could be worse. I think it's a decent little butcher shop that we have over here. We could do, we should probably do some street lights between these guys, right? Like a little street light here would kind of make sense. Maybe a little street light just here would kind of make sense. And a little street light there would kind of make sense, since we are making kind of, you know, some sort of main street out of this. I think it just makes sense that we would have some little street lights through there. I was also thinking this would be the perfect space for another market, since we have, I mean, I would like some buildings in there, but I think it just, well, maybe we'll see. We'll see what we can do. At the very least, we do need some more houses. That's kind of the main reason I built this entire space. So let me try my best to get this house in here. Let's make sure we're randomizing things as well. And we're going to go for that spot right about there for house number 1. We'll speed things up so that they build nice and quickly as well. And I think what we'll do is maybe try and get a couple of houses around this corner. I'm not 100% sure that we're going to have the room to do this, but I'm going to try my best to squeeze a second house in here. I don't. Oh, it is kind of possible. It is going to take away a little bit of the road though, which I don't love doing unless I put it right there, which, you know what, I'm willing to do. I think getting some extra houses in there is going to be really, really important. And I think having that little space is really good for us. I think we could also do a house right here, leaving that gap very intentionally, because we can bring some paths through here and do some parks and all that kind of detailing that I absolutely adore. And then for this space back here, I think we do something a little different. I think we do this, and I think we put a house back here, and that way we can bring some paths up to these guys, give them some sort of front yard or something like that to kind of play around with, and that'll be all right. So that gives us a bit of a different space and a different look for that area, which I'm completely fine with. This little path can sort of push straight through there. And then over here, do I want to try and do some kind of market, or do I want to try and do some houses? Do I have some buildings we could put in here? We do. We have 2 things we can do. Second floor housing for 1 is going to be huge. That's going to let us upgrade buildings to have more spaces. I totally forgot that was a thing. And then we also need to build a warehouse over here. So that's going to go in this space along with another little market. But for now, let me just connect these roads together, or this house to this road right here. I think that's kind of important. We can kind of do the same thing here. We'll just sort of cut away like that. I don't love how that looks, but it's kind of necessary. I do think it's a little better if we play around with the stone paints, but you know what? It's fine. It still looks pretty good. All right, so with this space now decorated, what we can do is grab these guys and put them into one of these houses by the bakery, which will keep them nice and happy. We can put these guys in a house over here with a bunch of trees around it, which will keep them nice and happy as well. We can put 2 people to work in the bakery right about there. And then we can go back into research. We can get this warehouse, and hopefully what we can do is, oh, look at you. Look at this. That's a pretty cool looking warehouse. I'm pretty sure we can get a cool looking market around this. Well, I think. I would imagine we can get a pretty cool looking market around this. I think the warehouse in this situation, what we'll do is build it a little bit away from that wall so I can play with some trees and make this look kind of cool. And I suppose we'll go back a little bit. We'll go to about, well, do I want to do it here or do I want to do it on this side? I think I might actually want to do it on this side. So it is kind of, I don't know, in this kind of corner right here. I might want to leave a little bit of room so I can do some decoration around it as well. Maybe some kind of wall to kind of close the space. But I think right about there for a nice big warehouse is definitely the way to go. And then I think we're going to want to go in with poultry stalls and all sorts of things, really. So let's see how many of these I can get into this space. So a poultry stall right about there. We're going to need the cheese stall just next to it, which is going to be right about there. We have the fish stall, which is going to be pretty much right against this wall. I think, I don't think we're going to be getting any trees alongside that wall, but that's okay. I'm not really super worried about that. We can do this guy in this space here, I think. And that's a few of them. We do still need the vegetable stall, which is going to be a little trickier to place, but we'll figure that one out in just a moment. I think for now, what I'd like to do is just bring myself a little something through here. I think we use the plaza floor for this. I think we go straight off the front and straight down like this. Oh, that's actually using the line tool right there. Hold on a minute. Let me, actually, no, we can use the line tool. We can do this. We can curve it sort of, let's see, that way. So it kind of comes out and around, and that's all right. And then we can sort of fix what we've done just like that. So that now gives us a connection to that warehouse, which I'm completely fine with. For this space here, though, I think we go a little bit simpler. I think we freeform this entire thing. I'm tempted to use sand because I think it could look kind of cool. So I'm just going to do a little something like this the entire way around. And that should mean all of those are now connected to a path, which they absolutely are. I love that. I really do. I love that so much. Let me get some walls alongside this guy just to kind of hide that that cliff that's being created there, because I don't love that. definitely don't love that cliff, but that looks all right. I think we could play around with some little trees in here. Maybe some slightly bigger trees in here would be an idea, just to again hide some crimes a little bit. Tree right there, tree right there. Can I get something in this corner back here? I would be very surprised if I can, but I'm going to try. Not that I think I'm going to be successful, but I might as well try. I think we're probably good on not doing that. Maybe just a couple of trees in those spaces as well. I think that looks fine. I really do. I think that looks okay. We need 2 people in that warehouse to get it up and running. And, well, it now is. We also have some people over here. They want light source decorations. We have plenty of those. You guys would like a regular, comfortable house. We have plenty of those. And I want to go ahead and say we have 2 people in here. I want to say we want another person in there. And who do we need over here? We need 1 more person in the Hatter as well. We're starting to really need a lot of people in here. And this is where things can spiral a little bit. But we do have that upgrade that allows me to extend the floors on buildings, or to add another floor to buildings. So we can totally do that. We can make this work. And I think that's maybe where we're at right now, is that we might need to put a couple more floors on a few more buildings. You guys want apparel shops nearby? Really? Okay. Well, in that case, if we hit the U button, we can upgrade these 2 houses, and we can say, there you go, and there you go. That'll keep them nice and happy. I'm also thinking we might want to use the eyedropper right here just to put more flowers on the front of this building, and maybe that back window right there. We can do the same. What is the shortcut for the eyedropper? Control C. We'll do the same thing here and here just to make that nicely decorated. And then I suppose, again, see, here's the thing. This is where we're starting to need so many more people in all of these buildings. It is starting to spiral a little bit, but I'm kind of okay with it. I think we'll manage. I think we'll be okay. Oh boy, no, maybe not. Hold on. Let's get you guys into this house over here. Let's get someone working in that warehouse. Let me get someone into this guy. Man, the demands are starting to spiral a little bit. They're starting to get out of control. So I think we can leave it there for today. I love this. I'm so happy with this. So yes, I think we can leave it there for today. I absolutely adore what we've built here. I am so excited to see this game develop. I don't know if it's going to early access. I don't know if it's just coming out. I have no idea, but I'm so excited to play more of this. I'm so excited to play it when it's not just a demo. It's going to be amazing. Because honestly, it already kind of is amazing. I have played through this demo. I haven't finished it yet. I've never got to the end of the demo, but I've played through it to about this point like 4 or 5 different times. And I've built something that I zoom out and I look at and I'm like, oh my God, that looks amazing every single time. So yeah, I'm really, really keen to see where this game goes. I'm very keen to play more of it, but that is going to do us for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.